I have the report, okay, and I mean sometimes people think that there's some big secret, big deal going on in the city, like someone did something wrong. I mean, and the way it's being put out there, and I mean, I think one of the members of the city council says, well, a lot of people are a bunch of reactive, so you could get them to react and they don't even know what's going on. And there's no game in town. I mean, this is it. Okay, the report came in and it says that the city failed to follow the regulations, per 24 CFR 92.250A and its own policies. Okay, now, I don't know how the councilwoman mother got up here, but I can tell you that I have, many family members that say, hey, what are you doing in North Miami? Can I come get you? I said, no, I mean, stay away. I cannot do that. You don't live in the city. You're not there. It's constantly. And, whether that would be cousins, even my mother, she was like, well, I heard, you're doing this for the resident of North Miami. What about the resident of the people that live in Little Haiti? I'm like, well, you have to go see Mayor Regalado. It's like, no, you are my mayor. So, all that usually happen. This is a government entity. What we got, a mistake was made, and the mistake has been corrected. But, and the problem is when these mistakes are made and some folks decide they want to capitalize on that. I mean, and we know what used to happen in the past. I mean, and the problem is, I said it over again, if you want to be a Martin Luther King, you got to do it all the time. It's not just, every once in a while that you want to do so that you continue to do it. But Mr. Manager, I mean, you got to make sure that you got, I mean, I know, and the example that I usually give, is the Buick example,
Who?
Buick. Sometimes, Buick, a donkey.
Oh, a donkey.
A donkey, sometimes a donkey, you get on the back of the donkey and it kick you, okay? And you have a city, sometimes the city act like a donkey. And as the guy who's on top of that donkey, you gotta take some corrective measure on that donkey to make sure the donkey does. I grew up in the countryside. I was born in Haiti, but I didn't know Port-au-Prince till I was of age. So the example I'm giving you, if you have to from the countryside to understand really how to get a donkey and get on the top of the donkey. So you got to make sure that you got, what it takes to really, get the city, in a path that it should be. Because you got city employees, sometimes, they go on a different path for whatever reasons. And sometimes when it's good for them, it's okay. When it's bad for them, they want to go to the other side. So you got to make sure that you keep that into place. And there's no reason why we should not be following our policies. And although it's the guy who was the manager of the housing department, he's the one that failed to disclose it. And he wanted to be promoted after he left, and he said, well, here's the information that, that was there. So any of the city employees in any department can create a situation for you because there's no way for you to know exactly what happened in that department. And sometimes, our family members put us in circumstances that we have no idea what's going on. And although they do it, they don't think that it's a big deal, but at the same time, we don't want to pay the consequences. It's you and the city council and the city attorney that pay the consequences for whether our family members do something or whether your city employees do something, because that's just the way it is. But that's the problem with those donkeys. When they get, they sometimes you got issues with those donkeys. So all I'm asking you, review those policies. Get each departments to put, and I think you're working on that strategic plan. Get them to get that together and put that in writing and make sure those policies are being followed. I understand, Mrs. Calloway was over that department, but then again, I mean, it was someone underneath her that actually got the job done. And that person is no longer with the city. So I would hope that you do talk with your employees and let them know that, I mean, this is a governmental entity. We are here to work for the people. You've been out there. You see how the people is reacting to what we're doing. You see how happy the people are. I mean, the people just, I mean, they have never seen, so much coming off the ground and actually getting the help that they need. So as you continue to work for the people, at the same time, you got to get your city employees into the right track, into the right mind to make sure that the work is being done. And it says, per 24 CFR section 92.250B, before committing funds to a project, the project manager must evaluate the project with guidelines that is adopted and with any governmental assistance to provide affordable housing. And it says here that staff did not follow their policies regarding the minimum home investment requirements. So we've been doing this program for so long, and we don't have a policy into place. We don't have in the application that, are you related to a council member? I mean, but is that because it seemed to me, I mean, it seemed like that's what I'm gathering here, but I mean, there's no provision in that application where you could actually, you ask the question, are you related to a council member, for the project manager to actually check that box? Are you saying that was not in the previous application?
Mayor, that was not in the previous application, and there are a number of areas that I have had discussions with the community planning and the community planning director, and I will issue something in writing to ensure that these type of things are proactively addressed. I'm not taking that report lightly. I think that there are areas that we could have been proactive. I think that there are areas that should not have happened. I think that if staff look closely, just because it's not in writing doesn't mean that we can't be proactive. So I'm certainly not ignoring the fact that things by staff could have, should have been done better. So I am addressing that. I like to not bring mayor and council into that, but I am addressing it. It will be addressed in writing to assure that there are practices in place to prevent this in the future.
But I know a lot of us cannot tell all of our family members, especially someone like me who got about 43 brothers and sisters, plus a bunch of cousins, bunch of nieces and nephews. And I had one of my cousin that, I have no idea that she'd applied for a job here in the city. Then someone called me and said, hey, your cousin from so-and-so has applied for a job. Then I quickly, asked the cousin, hey, listen, make sure you disclose in the job application. And I think she had to admit her job application to say that she is related to me. So we got, us too, we got to be held accountable and be held responsible to our family, to our friends, to let them know, make sure that you disclose that information so we won't have that baby mama drama that I see every so often, happen in the city. And I think the main reason is because we don't really, have those procedures that were supposed to be into place, and we got to put them into place today. It says the activity in status code of final draw over the 120 days completion for final days has occurred 371 days, which is a violation of the final home rule. What is that?
I believe that it's the our reporting. I think that's our reporting requirements to HUD. They do like for things to be presented timely. And let me say about audit reports. Audit reports are intended to find deficiencies, to progressively improve the overall impact of the program. So they do escalate. There are some things that certain practice that have been in place that they may not mention in year one, but they'll come back in year 2 and they'll mention it because they are intended to progressively improve overall what we are doing.
Okay.
Again, I do think that we could have been proactive in certain areas as well, opposed to these things being found out by the audit. So I am addressing that. But remember, all audits are not in, audits don't come in because somebody finds something wrong. These regular audits are annual, and they're intended to improve the overall program. So there were a number of things we could have done. They noted several deficiencies that the city has. A little bit more than what I would like to see. So I am working and putting a plan of action to minimize them in the future. But again, I can't debate that there are things that we could have done to give us a better audit report.
Okay. But it looks like, at least they give you some credit. It appears that staff made their best efforts to fulfill the requirements, but had not been made aware of what the requirements are by regulations. And it looks like the city attorney may want to come in and help out with these, 8 CFR, those, code of regulations. These are documents drafted, by some lawyers, some laymen, but actually it's for lawyers to review and actually put meetings to what these documents are. I got the 8 CFR, which deals mainly with immigration and naturalization, and 24 CFR, I don't know, maybe that deals with the home rehabilitation program, but it seemed to me that, Mr. Manager, along with the city attorney, needs to go in there and give some kind of training and make sure that you lay out those regulations for them. They know exactly what's in it, so we won't have these kind of problems in the city. So they have given you some credit, and I think basically they're saying that, I think your lawyer need to come in and help you out in that area.
Sure. And Mayor, I did question HUD. I think that I made some recommendations to HUD. How come you don't provide the cities with a recommended form? A form that is generic to, since it's your money, why don't you provide every city with a form that covers all of these issues?
Have they done that?
They don't do that. They say it's not their responsibility. So they say that they kind of address these things as they come along. They do provide training in certain areas that are required, but I think they could have been proactive. When the police department gets this accreditation, they tell us this is what you must do in order to be compliant. The HUD does not do that. So I think they could have been proactive as well.
All right, but the way it's make it seem like is, like the city was fully aware of the regulations and the requirements and went through the back door and gave, the house. It's just, that's the way it sound like. And sometimes, the when you have what they call, perception, and people automatically take perception to be a reality. So these are the kind of things that, we really have to buckle down. And I understand, what you had to deal with. You came in at a time that, things were tough. You came in at a time that, immediately after we cut, the city employees, and you came in and you didn't even give them a raise, and you expect them to do more. So I could understand sometimes, things may have to fall through the cracks. So
are they getting HUD training now?
They through the mayor councilman, they've always got training, that the required training to facilitate the program. But we will be continuing to provide training, conferences that are related to this, that would overall improve them. And this is why I think conferences and training, some conferences you don't get certifications, but they are best practices that make people aware, that will prevent things, or at least if it's there, I can say, well, you received training or you received exposure. It gives me better leverage to evaluate whether or not the director is within their rights or if they're deficient and not being proactive. I'm not minimizing. I think there are some things that we could have done. We could have thought outside the box. But moving forward, I am addressing that. We'll continue to address that. But I did make some strong recommendations to HUD. I'm surprised that they're giving out grant money, but they don't have a required application to ensure that their money's protected.
Right.
So every city has a different form. I think that's absurd that every city has a different form. There should be some uniformity and some continuity so that everybody knows what the expectations are, not to wing it.
Okay.
So, but the spirit of to conflict of interest was taught. The spirit of conflict of interest could have been better addressed in several areas by staff.
Okay.
I mean, that's my assessment, and I am working better to improve that.
Thank you.
Right. Okay, and I see that they also give you a way out. They said based on our review of the documentation, it appears that the city is it's in compliance with the HUD guidelines. So they give you another way out, although they said, you happen to have a problem there for failure to disclose the conflict of interest.
Correct.
Okay. Well, I see the report, it's available, but just briefly, again, September 11th, Dr. Claude, thank you for pulling this out at the last minute. Initially, Miguel was supposed to be working on that, but you came in at the last minute, along with your staff and got this done for us. As I said, I remembered that morning. I was in federal court and it was a federal building and got the call basically saying that this is America Day to get out from federal buildings and they all are coming down. And I just said, we don't run, So thank you so much for doing that, putting this event together for us today. Commissioner Monistim is having a town hall meeting at the North Miami Public Library this Thursday at 6:30 p.m. The community is invited to be part of this town hall meeting. And I think, one of the subject matter is the budget that will be discussed and some of the initiatives that he has going on in the county. So the community is invited to be part of that. We do have an NSP ribbon cutting this Thursday at, I think, is it 9:30 a.m.?
Correct.
The council is invited. You all are aware of it. In addition to that, the community is also invited to be part of that NSP ribbon cutting that we are having in the city of North Miami. Those of you who have not been to Johnson and Wells, Joint Work Unite, which happened every single year for the last 3 years that I have attended. Councilman Government has been there, I think, twice. Councilwoman has been there once. I've never seen Councilman Blinn, Councilman Marcellus. I know it's early in the morning, plus it's a Friday morning. If you hang out the Thursday night, it's kind of hard for you to make it there. But, you got 500-600 students that are ready to go out in the community, not only to clean the city of North Miami, but to clean around Miami-Dade County. So again, it's good for the students to see you as the body that were making decisions that would affect them. As I said, last year Councilman Galvin was there. I think also the year before, Councilwoman showed up once, but it's great that you guys could come out and be part of it. If you've never been there before, the students, truly appreciate to see that this body, is there to support them. We have the North Miami Hall of Fame, the induction ceremony, which is scheduled on October. Which is scheduled on October 10th The three young men that will be inducted to the North Miami Hall of Fame is Arturo Alvarez, Cesar Alvarez, and Carlos Alvarez. All three of them graduated from North Miami Senior High School. I think they were all American. One was a running back, the other one was a wide receiver. They play football, and I think they are the only three that came out from North Miami Senior High School and actually have gone and received All-American football. I mean, I think two of them were Mr. Football when they were in college. They all are lawyers now. One is a lobbyist in Tallahassee, a good friend of One Book. The other one is a big-time partner at one of the largest law firms here in Miami-Dade County, Greenberg Trauth. And the other young man, I'm not sure exactly whom he works for, but he's here in the county. So these are folks that have contributed to North Miami, and basically they cannot wait, to be part of this great celebration. And this is, of course, during National Heritage Month, National Hispanic Heritage Month in the city of North Miami, and they will be here to celebrate this North Miami Hall of Fame induction. There will be the first Hispanic inducted to the North Miami Hall of Fame. So they're very, initially they were very emotional about, receiving that kind of award. I also mentioned to them that a lot of us here, have gone to North Miami Senior High School. They don't remember going to school with Councilman Gavin, but they're a lot older than you. They're in the 60s. Okay. But they'll be here, which is a great honor, for them. They continue to support what's happening in the city of North Miami. Lastly, the NAACP, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, and the Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity, My Vote, My Voice, they would like to organize a voter registration here in the city of North Miami. They want to do it over at Celestin Community Center. So basically, I think the letter was addressed to me. Did we get a chance to give that letter? And basically, I'm asking this council. I'm not sure if it's the manager that have to make the decision, but I'm asking this council to allow them to have this voter registration drive in the city of North Miami on Saturday, September 29th. That starts at 9 a.m. To 12 o'clock. I'm sorry, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. that they have in the voters registration drive, and they would like to have it in North Miami, and they want to have it, I suggested the Celestin Community Center, which is wide open for the community. So I make a motion to allow the Florida State National Association for the Advancement of Colored People to have of My Vote, My Voice voters registration drive here in the city of North Miami. I made the motion. Seconded. Anyone wishes to record or no? Hearing none. Motion passed.
Voter registration drive.
Lastly, when I reflect over the last year and all that has been accomplished in favor of the city of North Miami, it brings me great joy. I am proud to represent one of the best 10 cities in the United States of America. But none of this would have been possible without the leadership and guidance of our great city manager, Stephen Johnson. I believe that many of us can agree that Mr. Benford's resignation came as a big surprise. But the appointment of Stephen Johnson as a city manager proved that through every challenge, there is an opportunity. He took the helm with confidence, demonstrating both his professional and practical experience. Under his leadership, in just about a year, Mr. Johnson managed the successful completion of the Celestin Community Center, ensured the installation of long-awaited bus shelters and welcome signs in the city of North Miami, negotiated the wastewater contract, making sure that there was a fee reduction for city residents, and not one single employee went unemployed. And we heard from a couple at the citizen forum that these employees had the options of either going with Westport or stay with the city, and they all are happy with the outcome. He finally addressed the big elephant in the room, which is Biscayne Landing. The first time in the history of that site that we finally got some money up front. We've seen the agreement before. We've seen the language that were in there. I built you a library if I feel like it. I built an Olympic training facility whenever I can. I'll refurbish your home on the west side if I feel like it. He negotiated the police union contract, which sat around here since 2007 with the city sitting on it. Nothing has been done. We all know firsthand that council members, it's not an easy task to be a public servant. Consistently scrutinized and criticized, but through it all, he has remained focused and driven by what is good and just for the people of North Miami. On Sunday, when the budget needed to be presented to the people of this great city, over 1,800 people had the opportunity to hear and see the budget for the city of North Miami. The city manager was there. When the storm came through, the city manager was there, left his family to be here in the city of North Miami to make sure that we were safe and secure. For these reasons and many others, I would like to put forth a motion for a vote of confidence for the city manager, Stephen Johnson. So I'll make a motion.
I second that if you explain it clearly, Mr. Mayor.
Just a vote saying that we really like the job that he's doing. He's accomplishing great things.
Well, but I also want to make sure that, okay?
Go ahead.
I also want to say that, for the work that he has done in the city of North Miami, he deserves a 5% increase. So that's my motion. Not only a vote of confidence, but a vote of confidence that comes with a 5% increase.
What is it you're looking for now?
I'll make the motion.
I think I really second it.
Okay, motion has been seconded. Councilman Glenn?
He's making $220,000 now. You want a 5% increase, Mr. Johnson?
Councilman, I'm not asking for an increase.
Okay.
He's not asking for it.
Okay. Councilman Marcellus?
I think Mr. Johnson has proven himself as a great leader and how he led the city for the past years. And if it's proper right now, someone probably say, hey, when is going to be proper? And it is really proper right now to, even though we agree with all the work Mr. Stephen Johnson done, and since we just negotiate the Biscayne Landing, can we wait and to see we can give him the raise, or just, I think I agree with you to give him the vote of confidence. Yes, I think yes, but it is proper right now to give him the raise. This is my questions, and I don't know. The questions remain probably unanswered. And if I really like the job Mr. Stephen Johnson, the way he's conduct himself and everything else, I think yes. And this is the ways. That's the only questions that I have. It is proper, or if we can wait, and that's probably another things.
Councilman Garvin?
I think it's a wholehearted yes for the vote of support, but he's not asking for a raise at this point, so I'd hold off on that. But I do think it would be proper for us to establish a review period so that we could, have an established timeline annually when we review the manager's job and give him a sense of what we think he or she, for future as well, what the manager is doing well and what we'd like to see improved upon. So I would certainly say some sort of evaluation could take place before I would certainly consider a raise. But at this point, I'll wholeheartedly vote in favor of the vote of confidence without a raise at this moment.
Okay.
Mr.
Vice Mayor?
Thank you. Isn't it the same 5% that we actually gave it back to everybody else that we are referring to?
I think that's already been done. This is an additional 5%. A raise is on top of what you've already refunded or something like that, I would phrase it.
Right. Okay.
No.
Okay.
I'm done. The only thing that the city manager just mentioned that he did not asking for a raise.
Oh, I mean,
So
yeah, a lot of times, people don't ask for things. You make the determination whether they deserve it. So I'm making that determination that he deserves it. I'm sure. I mean, the amount of hours that he put into this city, the work that has been done. I'm not sure if you guys get a chance to talk to the people and see the people out on the streets, and whether you are getting coffee, whether you are at church, whether you are, watching people paying their water bill, whether people are just walking down the street. I mean, come on, you don't have to ask for it, to deserve it. I mean, my wife never asked me to say that I love her, but she deserves to be loved, and I usually say I love her. So I mean, I don't get
Every woman
that issue there. Okay.
I think the problem
So-
though comes when somebody and again, sorry for this, Manager Johnson, because this kind of conversation we have to have. He makes over $200,000 a year. When we've got working men on the street, working women on the street in the city who have not had a raise. They were just barely blessed to get reimbursed what they'd been cut over the last few years, as was everybody else now. To take
They still
a
get cut
raise-
6 days a year.
and take a raise and apply that to the highest paid position in the city first, I think sends a wrong message to working class people. Again, let's fall back. We've got Biscayne Landing money we need to discuss how we're going to appropriate it. Let's sort of get our bearings on that. Let's have some evaluations. I'm not saying I'm not in favor of a 5% raise a month from now, 2 months from now, but without it being on the agenda at midnight tonight, under the circumstances, I'm just not comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. City Clerk.
Okay. A couple of minutes ago, roughly 30 minutes ago, the council just voted to not only give themselves that 5% pay increase,
No,
As
it
of
was to
Oct- wait, wait.
restore.
No,
the-
not an
wait,
increase.
wait, time out, wait.
It's a
The manager has
restoration.
Wait,
already
wait.
had that done.
Wait.
But Michael, no,
No,
I've got,
hold
you
on.
got to be factual.
Okay, I'm gonna do it right now.
factually
I'm gonna do
correct.
it. We had a
we
5%.
restored to the council
Okay.
what everybody else had
Okay.
restored
Okay,
to
wait,
them
wait.
previously.
Our salary, the council, by charter, whatever the council makes, the city clerk makes. Our salary was cut, contractual reasons, by 5% since May 2010. The employees of the city are here 9 to 5. They work very hard every day, including the manager, including the city attorney. Not the council members and the clerk. We work hard, but we're not here every day 9 to 5. So as of May,
I'm gonna let you know, Michael. I put in as much time as a city councilman on a weekly basis as I do at my 40-hour-a-week real job. Make no bones about it.
I understand that.
I've had to justify to my constituents for years why I make a salary now. It's because I'm busting
Right,
my
right.
tuchus.
I understand
for
that,
this city.
Scott.
So please,
I'm not-
please don't
Let
try
me-
to undersell what we do up here as
No,
councilmen.
listen, I'm going to state the obvious. The obvious is this. As a city clerk, everyone tells me I'm here way more often than every other city clerk they've ever seen. I work as well, and I'm not saying you guys don't work. I'm saying everyone does a lot of work, especially the employees of the city, the manager, and the city attorney. But this is my point that I want to get out before my report. May 2010, so right now, me, the city clerk, the members of the council are going to get back pay from May 2011, the council from May 2010 of 5%. In addition to that, we're going to get back, we're going to go back to a 5% increase. So we had a 5% cut, we're going to go back to a 5% increase as of October 1st, 2012. This is my position, and this is all what I'm suggesting. If we, as the elected officials of the city, cannot make this good gesture and give a city manager who's busting his behind from 9 to 5, he's done a lot of great things, I would respectfully request that we suffer the burden and let's not get that 5% increase that we just gave To the
It's not an
He's already-
increase.
No, I'm just
but
saying,
he's
how
already
about- but you
gotten
guys
it.
still voted
He's
for
already
it.
gotten that
Okay.
restoration.
Right, that's what I'm proposing.
Everybody else got.
Because I think as the leaders of the city, the elected officials, if we can't get 3 council members to acknowledge the money this man saved us. He balanced our budget without touching the Biscayne landing money. I don't even think we have to touch the Biscayne landing money at all. And the mayor wants to make a good gesture and give him 5% for all the work he's
So
put in.
what do you
Just
say?
one
to,
second,
what do you say to the
Councilman.
garbage man who doesn't
Him
want
too,
to have
no.
any more garbage men?
Okay.
What do you say to the police officer who
Speak to my
protects
report.
us?
I just wanted to. I just feel so
Okay.
bad. I just
Take-
wanted to.
right.
Can I take a roll call vote, man?
Sure.
We have a motion
No,
in a
no, no,
second.
not yet. Come on.
Okay.
No.
Oh,
right.
We have a motion in a second.
Thank you. The motion was made. It was seconded.
I don't know what's in
Anyone wishes to record a no?
No.
No.
Okay, motion
Measure
passes
passes
3-2.
3-2.
All right, good. City clerks, any reports from you? I think the last time we were here, somehow there was an issue with my appointment.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that, but the
Okay,
first,
but let me get your report.
my first report is a couple of residents from the city of North Miami. They really wanted council meetings to be placed online. My goal when I was elected, I made a vow promise that we would increase transparency in the city. We have done that. All of our contracts are online. Everything's online. I'm working with the city manager and the IT department so that we can put all of our council meetings, the archives online. It won't be live streamed now, but we should have a pilot program beginning tomorrow. This council meeting should be on a YouTube link, and on my clerk's website, we're going to have a link to that YouTube link. So that's the progress we're making through the clerk's office. And, of course, the manager is being very instrumental in helping us with that. That's the first announcement. And, of course, I want to thank you, Mr. Manager, for all the great work you've been doing. The second announcement, I wouldn't be afraid if I can't defend someone. Let me just tell you, behind closed doors, I always defend Scott Galvin in the African-American and Haitian-American community. I'm going to do it in public. Scott is not a racist. He loves the Haitian-American community. Scott Galvin was a coach of mine. I know he puts a lot of things on his blog that I read all the time. I get into a lot of trouble with my friends for admitting that, in my opinion, Scott is a stand-up guy. I think a lot of times he's misunderstood, and he was my coach. I have the utmost respect for Scott Galvin. So let me let it know publicly. For those of you who were mad at me a couple of days ago when I stood in defense Scott behind closed doors, even during this election, I'm telling you right now, he's a great guy. I think he's misunderstood, but he's always been good to all the players he coached. He always been good to our community, and let me just make that clear. In doing so, I also want to defend Maxine Calloway, and that's where I disagree with Scott, where he made his comment that he thinks that she should resign. You have to understand something. If it wasn't for Maxine Calloway, we would not have our certificate of use ordinance right now that we're currently using to clean up the businesses in the city of North Miami. I have gone to this woman's office. I've sat in there. We've discussed it. She's an attorney. We hammered it out, and we worked. She helped me. I helped her. She incorporated me into creating the certificate of use that code enforcement, the city is using to clean the city up. In addition to that, you have to remember where the error came from. The error came from an individual who was hired, not during this administration, way before. This individual failed to file to explain the conflict and apply for a waiver. This individual did it. It wasn't Maxine. I run a law
Does it
firm.
say that in the report?
No. I'm just saying.
I did not want to go
I
there
don't
tonight,
wanna
but
go-
if we're going to go
No,
there,
none
we're
of us
gonna
wanted to go there.
Michael, if you want to throw some gas on this, and I love you, thank you for defending me, but I'm also not going to sit quietly while people try to pretend like that report that just came out didn't just come out. If we want to throw gasoline, I've got some matches. But if you don't want to get things burning tonight, because I've got a lot I can say.
Wait, okay, well,
then
we're not
let's
going to go.
stop this
I just
right
want to
now.
defend Maxine. This is all I want to do. I'm not going to.
You don't have to defend her.
No, I think I should
But-
because
but
I've worked
We're
with
not
her.
accusing her of anything.
Ben, no one's talking to me. Please wait. But my point is, before we go, and again, Scott, I respect you. I don't think that we, as any elected officials, should ever make it public that we think a particular person should resign based on a mistake someone else has made. So
You're
I'm not
making
saying-
an assumption that somebody else
But
made that
Con-
mistake.
No, I'm-
and
None of
somebody
us
else
made that
it
statement.
only.
Okay.
Councilman, let him
I'm
finish.
talking
Let him
to
finish.
you.
Let him
I'm
finish.
discussing it
Go
with Scott.
ahead.
But anyway, I'm just going to leave it alone. I just want the city to know that without Maxine Calloway, without it, we would not have the certificate of use ordinance right now that's cleaning our city up. And so I want to acknowledge that she is a remarkable director of that department, and it wasn't Maxine who made that mistake, and it wasn't Sarah Mom who made that mistake. But Scott didn't do anything wrong. He just, the only thing I would disagree with is making that comment. She should resign. But you just reported what you heard. It's honorable. You did what you have to do, what you had to do. But I do not think she should resign, and I don't think anyone should request that she does. The last announcement that I have is the board, your board matter, Mr. Mayor, the Board of Adjustment. During the last council meeting, we went through 2 sets of votes for the Board of Adjustment. You had a vacancy. Initially, Joe Haber was your appointee. You did not appoint Joe Haber as your particular direct appointee initially. The person you appointed was Lucy Thundro, Scott Galvin appointed Rosaline Phillip, and Michael Blinn appointed Mr. McDermott. After those 3 initial appointments, you guys had a vote. The council voted all 3 in. That vote was already completed. Thereafter, there was a discussion regarding the alternates. So we had a separate vote for the alternate. At the time you made the motion to include Joe Haber, the only available seat that you had, it wasn't that your particular appointment. You only had an alternate available. It was an at-large appointment because you've already appointed Lucy Thundo to that particular position, and it was already voted on. No one went back and removed Lucy off that board, so she was always there. So when you guys included Joe Haber, he was included as an alternate, and that's why it's reported that way.
All right, can we flip? Because I thought Mr. Haber was already on the board, so I'll make a motion to flip.
I don't know if you can do that. That's something I have to look into because I know with certain boards, we had this issue before. For example, taking certain people off the board. Not every board you can just do it by a majority vote. They would have to resign. I would have to discuss it with the city attorney. But we had this issue before. She wasn't here at the time. A different city attorney was here. But you can't just vote someone off a board. There's certain laws, especially the Board of Adjustment board. It's an extremely important board. Decisions that are made here don't even come here. If someone wants to appeal it, they got to go to the circuit court. So, yeah, that's what if you don't mind, Mayor, I would consult with the city attorney and then, so I don't think we can just take it off.
All right, no problem.
So as of now, Mr. Haber, you are an alternate, and Lucy is the appointee.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, Ms. City Attorney, any reports from you?
No, sir.
Okay, Mr. City Manager, any reports from you?
Yes, Mayor. I just first of all like to thank you for the comments that you and the council shared, and the clerk. If I did, you mentioned the level of professionalism. If I did seem to be a little unprofessional when it comes to protecting my staff, including Ms. Calloway, I apologize for that, but I think staff is doing a very good job, and I think that I will be working proactively. I don't, again, want to get into the situation of what happens to Ms. Calloway, other than she's been very proactive in addressing that report, working with me, and I'm confident that in the future that she will continue to handle that. Just to share some clarity of what is happening with the mayor and council at your request, 2010 May, everybody, including Mr. Benford, took a 5% pay decrease. What we are doing immediately, we are giving people that loss back. That would be a lump sum. In addition to that, now when we say that's a loss, so in other words, we're moving them back as well as on October 1st, restoring everyone back to the 5%, moving forward as of October the 1st. That being said, I do agree. I would not take a 5% at this point in time until the employees take a 5% increase on October the 1st.
Okay.
So that's something that I would do on my own, although that's something you said, but I would not do that until the employees get that 5% October the 1st. So
I appreciate that very much.
The entire city, including Mr. Benford's position that he lost, he took that as long with you all. So that's what will take place. So,
Okay.
Thank you
just
so
so
much.
you can understand that.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Johnson.
Other than that, I just want to say that I'm glad that we brought clarity on the council meeting moving forward on that evening, and I do thank you for the support of the NAACP for that voter registration drive.
Motion to adjourn.
And
Thank you.
next time that I'm sponsoring an item and somebody make an offer to purchase this item, please let me know.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Motion to adjourn was made. Thank you.
I love you, Scott.